Open the package, we will find the instruction manual, a toolkit, a cable pack, a joystick pack, and replaceable controller shells. Take out the tools, the 030 cable, 2 red cables, and the joystick base from the kit. Please note that there is a 030 marking on the flat cable for differentiation. Once all the components are ready, you can proceed with the installation. Open the right trigger, we will notice a spring on the left side. We can use the presence of this spring to determine if the controller is the 030 model. Before disassembling the controller, make sure to turn it off. Use a pry bar to pry open the L1 and R1 buttons. Press and hold the trigger, then insert the pry bar into the gap and lift it upwards. Use your hand to hold the buttons in place to prevent them from popping out. Then pry open the black shell at the bottom of the controller. Gradually pry open the shell along the seam until it comes apart. Once it is pried open, you can use your hand to separate it completely. Use the screwdriver from the toolkit to remove the 4 screws that secure the controller shell. Then, use the pry bar to loosen the 2 clips at the bottom and remove the back shell of the controller by hand. Remove the battery from the controller. Next, unscrew the 3 screws that secure the black shield and the controller shell. Disconnect the microphone ribbon cable at the bottom and remove it. Then you can take off the black shield. Disconnect the ribbon cable connecting to the mainboard from the groove. Now we can remove the front shell of the PS5 controller. Unscrew the screw at the upper right corner of the touchpad. All screws have the same specifications and can be grouped together. Then, you can separate the touchpad. The solder point is located near the center, towards the right side. Take out the prepared red wire. Solder it onto the solder point using a soldering iron. Align the flat cable and the red wire with the connector at the upper right corner. Install the touchpad onto the controller. Place the mainboard back into the front shell of the controller. Then secure the screws removed earlier from both sides. We can see the marking BDM-030 on the circuit board, indicating that the controller is of the 030 mode. Remove the joystick base from the mainboard and replace it with the prepared joystick base. Take out the prepared 030 flat ribbon cable. Align the two holes of the main ribbon cable with the two pillars above the left joystick. Once it is properly installed, the result should look like this. Flip the mainboard over and fasten it in place. Reinstall the previously removed flat cable back to its original position. Next is soldering the joystick ribbon cable. Locate the corresponding solder points and solder the joystick ribbon cable onto them in the correct orientation. Then, install the black shield and the battery. Remove the sticker on the main flat cable and stick it onto the correct position of the battery. The connection mode is shown in the figure. Locate the corresponding solder points on the main ribbon cable and solder each red wire to its respective solder point. Be careful not to solder to the wrong solder point. After soldering is completed, adjust the position of the red wires as needed. Insert the microphone flat cable into the groove at the bottom of the controller. Then, insert the controller flat cable into the groove on top of the main ribbon cable. Plug the main flat cable into the groove on the replaceable controller shell. Align the controller shell and press firmly to ensure a snug fit. Next, screw the 4 screws back into place to secure the shell. Reinstall the L1 and R1 buttons to their original positions. Finally, install the black shell on the front of the controller. If the height of the joystick is not suitable, users can easily plug and unplug it for replacement. Once the installation is complete, you can perform a check on the controller. Press both the map button and the turbo button simultaneously. The map light and turbo light should stay on, while the power light in the middle should turn off. Press each button individually and check if the corresponding button activates the power light in the middle. If there are no issues with the tested buttons, the power light in the middle will illuminate.